Good morning, y'all. Lord, Lord, Lord. My goodness. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What a time technologically is. When is Mercury retrograde over, friends? Somebody tell me. When? When is it over? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Whew, Jesus. I'm just trying to stay patient and not get super frazzled. I'm just trying to do one more thing. Give me one more second. Morning, everyone. Good morning. Please let your siblings know that we are here. Good morning, LS. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I just gotta go for what I know. Good morning. What? Oh, y'all. My Lord, today, the spirit and the technology and the universe is like friends. You are going to just have to go for what you know and not this is not what you want to happen. Is not going to happen today. Okay? It's not what you're trying to have happen is not going to happen like you want it to happen today. Talk about a futuring faith. It is not going to happen like you want it to happen today. So release it. Release it. Release it. Release your control of it. Release it. Release it, release it, release it. I know I'm talking to me, but I'm talking to some of you this morning also. Release it. So on yesterday, good morning to all of you whom I've not said good morning to. Good morning to those new members who will be joining us over in the clearing. Good morning to you. For those of you who are interested in joining us over in the clearing, let me see if I could maybe get a link over here to assist you, which is right after PRC. We begin at 9 a.m. Sometimes we are a little late. My computer is saying it's getting ready to die now. Hold on, y'all. And this is why we're family. And this is why we're family, because y'all know what it is. My. Rock with me for a minute. Rock with me for a minute. Rock with me for a minute. Just a second, friends. Just a second. Just a second. Everything. Feel like I need to sing or something. To get my mind together. For those of you for whom this is your first time, let me just welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Melva. I am the Pink Robe Pastor. I'm the digital griot, the curator and creator of this spiritual gathering, and I welcome you into this place. And while I am a little bit tattered, a little bit all over the place this morning due to some technical difficulties. Jessens, I'm here and we're here. Amen and Ashe. I welcome you into this space where we engage together. We talk back to the text. We engage in some wisdom bearing and some truth telling. This space is beautiful because there are folks there are folks representing all facets of humanity and life here in this space and where we engage together. And so I just welcome you into this space. I hope you feel welcome. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm reading a text. Oh, God, Jesus. I have been asking you all to pray. I hope I can continue this. I've been asking you all to pray. I've been asking you all to pray. I started last Tuesday. A very, very, very close family member was experiencing medical crisis, and it I've been holding confidence because I don't know what the family has been sharing, and my family has been at the hospital. My entire family has been at the hospital every single day this week since we got the news, holding space. I have absolutely been operating in the space as a guide, as one who ministers not just to this family, but I found myself in the waiting room ministering to other families. I found myself, interestingly enough, there was a white family who came in to the critical care pediatric unit, and they were visibly shook. And I sat there because of some things, some identifying things that they had on them. And I sat there and was like, bless their hearts. You know, I'm going to pray for them internally, and just was so moved because of what I was seeing in my office that I got up and went and started to pray with them, at which they received. But I just read a text that has me a little shook, and I'm just not able to disclose because it's not the correct thing to do. So I would ask you to continue to pray. Ashe, continue to pray. Life is intact, but a turn has been made that requires that life will remain here. Ashe, that the person's life will remain on this plane, but there is some, life will be different now. Life will be different now for the person, and I just. And I just solicit your prayers. I'll talk more about it in the clearing, but I just solicit your prayers, please. Solicit your prayers, solicit your prayers, solicit your prayers. So much so that I'm not getting ready to talk about what I was getting ready to talk about. I just want to pray. I just need to digress, not digress, but divert. So we're gonna pray. We're going to collectively pray. And so if you have something that you need us to pray about, I invite you to do so, to just you know, life really is fragile. It is very fragile. It is very fragile. Life is very fragile. And for those of you who are joining, yes, Salva, for those of you who are joining, this is your first time. You know, welcome to our shift, in the sense that I'm going to move how the Spirit moves. And I just, the parent and I have been texting. So I go every day. My family goes to the hospital every day. And then the mom and I, we have a morning ritual. We text each other. And sis, if you're watching, which is also why I'm taking great care, because I know that you may be on and watching, and I'm just holding space and being ethical about your privacy and what is being experienced right now in your family, which is my family. So let us just go. Let us just go. Let us just go. Wow, great spirit. In these moments that moments that almost take breath from us, moments that shift us and forever change us, moments that make us ask questions of why, moments that also in ways kind of keep us stuck in a cycle of remembering, but not the kind that pieces us back together, but the remembering like just a week ago. Remembering where one was or what one was doing before life shifted. And I know that I am not the only one who has had an experience or is having an experience in this way. For there are those of us under the sound of my voice on the other side of this screen who are also experiencing moments or who have experienced moments where life shifted on a dime, where everything that they knew just changed. And they were left wondering where you are in the midst of this. And so, great spirits, I am calling upon you to be with those who are experiencing this. Who even in the season of resurrection, there were yet still those who were wondering, had the resurrection really happened? There were those who were questioning what the resurrection really meant for them as they were still suffering, as they were still experiencing hardship. They were wondering, where is the tangible representation? Where is the shift? Where is the outward change? Where is it that I heard this teacher say that the last will be first and the first will be last? What happened? I thought that at this moment, everything would turn over. Where is it that I was required and requested to have faith and to be obedient to this teaching and to move? Where is it? I imagine those in the text were asking. Just as some of us are asking similarly, where is it? How do we live? How do we rise in moments of grief? How do we resurrect ourselves from piles of ashes that were unexpected, that were not asked for, that sometimes, that many times, most times feel undeserved? How is it that we are to move in this way? How is it that we are to enact a kind of faith that futures us? How is it, God? What does it all really mean? What does it mean to read in these texts? What does it mean to read in these texts and when real life happens, when real moments happen? What does it mean not just to say the platitudes of God is able? What happens when God doesn't? What happens when what you prayed for all of what you prayed for does not happen and you only get the partial blessing, what do you do with the rest, with the remnant of the grief? What do you do in the season of what is now identified as resurrection? How do you move on? How do you put one foot in front of the other? How do you still desire to wake up in the morning? How do you lie at night when the loved one that lied next to you is not there? How do you engage in relationship with a physical representation of the divine, the holy, the physical body when a part of that body is no longer there? How, oh great spirits? How? And this is yet the place. This is the place where many of us find ourselves. And so, for the news that I just received, and Spirit, I think that I'm probably taking it even a little bit harder than the person who delivered the news. Because the person who delivered the news to me via Texas, if you're watching, ended the text by saying, but I count it all joy at hearing news that will forever shift that has shifted and that will shift the life of her child. She said, but I count it all joy. And great Spirit, well, I cannot count it all joy just yet. I cannot do it, and I will not do it. I will not forsake my grief. I will not forsake my frustration. I will not forsake my confusion for this kind of performance of faith. That is not what she's doing, though. I'm saying where I am. That is not what my good friend is doing. She has traveled there. She has just arrived to that point before me, and that's okay. She needs to get there before me because she needs to be present with her child. She needs to get there before me. And as a ministry leader and as a faith leader, I confess that I am simply undone. I am simply undone. Simply undone. I have not the words. I have no pithy platitudes. I only have more questions. The text that this day is just wow. The text that I was going to, my goodness, grace. The text that I was going to share from, interestingly enough, is very familiar. And the Spirit, I guess, Spirit be knowing, the Spirit moved me to this text, not knowing that I would read what I read just now, but because I was prepared to actually talk about many of the things that I'm praying through right now. And what was so heavily on me was that for people who might be feeling away in this season of resurrection, who still are living in tombs, spiritual tombs, emotional tombs, mental tombs, who are still living in tombs, for whom stones have not been rolled away, for whom the season of grief that they find themselves in is overwhelming, and they are trying to find joy. They are trying to get peace, have peace around their situation, trying to enact faith, trying to be hopeful, trying to just adjust, trying to, and I think that we move through this season so quickly because of how we have, I'm sorry, move with me. Because of how we have talked about resurrection. And you've already heard me say that resurrection is not a one-time act, but it is a process. And in that process, though, it's not chronological. It is not a process that is ordered by chronological time. And so I've just really, it's been heavy on me, and probably because I have been serving in this way this week of heaviness and holding space. Not to suggest that my heaviness is greater than the family members of the loved one who is in crisis, but maybe to the extent of standing in an office and a calling where, where the requirement is to simply be present and to just hold. And so I just began to think about folks, them and others that I know who are still struggling to rise. And it took me to, again, a very familiar text. And it took me to the book of Hebrews, that very familiar, now faith is the confidence in what we hope for. And it is the determination. It is the assurance about what we do not see. That text came to me because this text is way after. This text is offered, or at least, that just forgive me for a minute with not being able to give you all of the specificities, around how the synoptic gospels were written after some of the letters of Paul. And I don't even have the energy to do that. But if you could just go with me for a minute, and to know that Hebrews, at least in sequential time as it is presented in this text, this generation of listeners, they were not even first generation Christians. It would have been their parents who were believers. They are like second generation, maybe even third, like they heard through somebody who heard through somebody, and now they are believers. And so this text is far removed far removed from the text that the lectionary currently has one sitting in, which is that resurrection has just happened. And these people are stressed and they are struggling because they have come into the way, they have come into the light, they are believing now, they are identifying with this way. They have, in order for them to get to this place of faith, they have had to remember. Memory here is used in chapter 10. They have to remember what happened to them. They had to remember when they were strangers in Egypt. They had to remember that the way that their faith or their strength comes about is they have to remember, my goodness, help us, God. They have to remember their own abusive past. They have to remember what it was like to be verbally abused. They have to remember what it was like to be physically abused. They had to remember escape. They had to remember in hearing the stories. They then are remembering the stories of their ancestors. This is it, Pastor Susan. This is exactly it. That resurrection is rising into a new state of being, and that all resurrections are joyful, though we tend to think of resurrection as a joyful experience. This is it. That's the word. Yes, Ashe. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one I needed. That's the one I needed. That's the one I needed. Let me put a pin right there, y'all. Just flow with me. That's the one I needed. Because this baby has resurrected. Yeah. In a different state. Still here in the land of the living. In a different state, though. In a different state. Ashe, Pastor Susan. Ashe. And so these people who are having to remember, who have to go back to the point of trauma, who are overwhelmed by that trauma, and as a result, stop assembling together. They stop coming, they stop joining, they stop because it's not making sense. Their math is not mathing. Jesus, according to how they were evangelized or proselytized, should have come back a long time ago. Come back in the season of the first generation, and yet here they are generations later and are experiencing extreme hardship and are wondering, is this really real? Like, what's the point? And the writer in chapter 10 kind of admonishes them and tells them, like, listen, this is why you can't fall back. Because there's a legacy here that you're standing on. And then we get to Hebrews 11, really 1 through 40 is its own. It should be a litany of its own. It is traditionally called the Hall of Faith. But verses 1 and 2 just simply say, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And then that 2b says this. This is what the ancients were commended for. In other translations, it says, and this is what your ancestors were known for. that your ancestors, our ancestors, this is what your ancestors were known for. Your ancestors were known for being able to see beyond what was in front of them, and or, as Reverend Susan just shared with us, being able to acknowledge the hard things that we experience in the midst of life and yet continue to live. That our ancestors were able to identify and live into a new state of being that wasn't easy, but it was their memory and their practice of their traditions that sustained them. If I were to look at this through an Afrofuturist lens, then faith in this text and even resurrection is not just a belief, but it is an act of a radical imagination. It is a refusal to accept the limitations of the present and a commitment to envisioning a future where everyone is free, or shall we say, resurrected. And because we just received this wisdom, this doesn't mean that our freedom, our liberation, our journey to freedom and or liberation, or our state, our existing state of resurrection will be easy or will be joyful. Hence, I began praying, asking questions, asking how, asking why, asking when, asking, even looking at my dear sister, wondering how she's able to count it all joy. And this is it. That in her soul, in her DNA, in those 4,094 generations, is the witness of someone, is the witness of one of those one of those 8th great grandparents, is the witness, is the Ashe. And it is there, even if she doesn't know where she's looking to, but I believe that she does. It is there that she is grabbing her inspiration. That if we were to continue with this Afrofuturistic lens, that it invites us, it invites us to look to the ancient ones, to the ancestors, for inspiration. To see how they enacted, to see how they persevered with faith in the face. Yes, Pastor Anika, the witness is in our bones. Put a pin right here, because let me tell you what that brought me. When Joseph died, I had to go back to Genesis on that. When Joseph died, before he died, he told his son, take my bones with you. Because the witness is in our bones. This faith, though, is not just about believing in what we can't see. It is about trusting in what we cannot. My goodness. It is an invitation. It is an invitation. To believe in the unseen and to trust in the unknown. It is about imagining what has not yet come into being on this plane and working tirelessly to be a portal to bring it forth. And so even in this, as I am overwhelmed by fear, by uncertainty, by doubt, with grief, that this witness in my bones reminds me that faith is not a noun, it's a verb. I don't know if this is we're gonna get what I'm trying to say here, that faith is not a noun, it's a verb. And what I hear coming through me is, and I don't have to believe to have faith. That's what I keep trying to rephrase it in my mind, but I just keep hearing that, like, and that I don't even have to, maybe it's I don't have to know. I don't know. That's how I'm hearing it. I guess it's not a passive belief. It's not a passive belief. That's it. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. It's not a passive belief. It's an active trust. In the unseen and the unknown. It is a confidence. It is a confidence in what we hope for and an assurance that God is with us, even when we cannot see the way ahead, even when we do not feel resurrected, even when joy is elusive. That there is no way around trials. There's no way around grief. There's no way around loss. But it is a choice that we make every single day. to believe in what we cannot see, and to trust what we don't know. And if my ancestors did it, then I am able to. Because they are in me and I am in them. So, Great Spirit and ancestors, be with my family today. Be with our loved one today. Be with the parents of our loved one. And be with our loved one. As today they will receive news of a new normal that will undoubtedly rock them. And will shift life as they know it, as they once knew it. But as our elder, Reverend Susan, said, there may not be joy now, but that joy will come again. That joy will come again. For strength and for courage. This is the prayer that we pray. Ashe. Ashe. Asheo. One final request to also pray, yes, Pastor Nika, that no matter how long the night, the joy will come again. Pray with me and Derek, just as you are praying for our friends, but pray with us as we have to talk to our daughters. Pray for their capacity to handle and to hear and to hold. Ashe, y'all. I'm going to head to the clearing for just a little while. Love you all to life. To life. Thank you for holding space this morning. Thank you for being present this morning. You know I'm not supposed to do this here because of copyrights and everything. I know, so this may get muted, but I want to hear this right now because it is, hold on, Ashe. Let me see if it will even let me. One second, y'all. Okay, this is, it's not, this kind of technology is still saying not today, sis. Now this is telling me what's in my library. You know what? Hold on. My. Ashe, well, not this morning. Maybe I'll find it over on the clearing. I wonder why Apple Music does that. Hold on, y'all. I don't know where to get it. One second. I know where to get it. One second. I won't let this play long because I know my live is gonna get muted. So I'm gonna carry it over onto the clearing. But I just wanted the folks to hear just a little bit with me. Because that's where we are, Ashe. This is my gospel this morning. I'm headed to the clearing. Peace, y'all.